Yet another day. Rolling out. It's about 6:15 in the morning. Going to pick up the group. We're doing about 120 some K. Probably about 72 miles today with the group. Should be interesting. I'm gonna see if, I think Paul should be there today. People have requested that we film without the mount. The last few rides I've used the mount. They kind of want to see us do what we usually do. So we'll see if Paul's in the mood. I'll hand him the camera and I'll also hold it myself. So should be interesting today. As always.
On this ride, I left Northampton, rode into the woodlands, picked up the group at the Alden Village Center. We headed out on Research Forest, Fishcreek Blvd. We filmed all the way. We took Capitol Hill, Raven Chapel, Mill Route, the 2854. Stopped to film in a taco corner. After stopping at the store, we went through the forest. The group split up when we got into the forest. We ended up with I think 4 or 5 riders in our main group. And we came back on Bethel, 1097, back to Montgomery. And then we took Spring Branch Road all the way into Keenan. When we got to Keenan, we stopped at the store. Then we continued through the neighborhood, Grand Lake Estates, Honey Egypt Road, back into the Woodlands, Texas. I think you would love the clip we got for you. I titled this, I guess, Staying on the Wheels. So you can kind of see how you have to focus and save your energy when you're with a fast-moving group.
Your camera pretty good on your side?
Yeah, we did. I mean, probably.
We're living the Alden Village Center
no damage,
in the Woodlands,
power's only out
Texas.
for a day and a half for us.
These guys are talking about the hurricane that hit our area.
Get it back
Saturday afternoon.
last week.
Yeah.
So almost a week.
Yeah.
5 days.
Yep.
So we lost power
Man, it
for about
was
5
crazy.
days. So did Paul.
I never experienced something like that before. No, just living without the power. Oh my goodness,
It's horrible, man.
Yeah, it's summer and we had no power for 5 days. It's uncomfortable. You can't sleep.
hot.
It's hot. It's muggy.
It's this.
All the
Yeah.
food went bad because the
It's like
refrigerator
you gotta make it right,
has no
man.
power.
Man,
So that's what
Rise
they're
up.
talking about.
Hurricane Ike, we were out for 2 weeks.
Wow, seriously?
Yeah.
Man.
The weather wasn't as bad for that one. We
Our
got
grid
that
is
storm.
our
We got
grid leaves
really
a lot to
nice
be desired in
afterwards for about
Texas.
a week.
It's kind of
Yeah.
an
Real
embarrassment.
dry and cooler.
we're supposed to be cooling down next week.
We're rolling out. We had a good turnout here, but a lot of people come to the rides, as I said before. They have no intention of doing the full route. They come to show off more than anything. They kill themselves doing intervals on the climbs and stuff. By the time we get to Taco, they're wiped out. So I just sit in for the most part, and that's really why I titled the ride Effective Drafting, so to speak. I don't help them with the pace because they're not doing 75 miles or whatever we're doing. And they might be doing 40 or 50 miles or whatever they do. But when they're coming back, they're going to be going real slow because, they're coming back alone. Or with like-minded individuals. But they come out every week and they're not really riding with the group. So that's the issue. I'm up the road. I'm with Laura and them up there.
Hey, man, your wife is doing a great job. Man. Look at that color combination. Man.
Oh, come on.
Oh, my God.
That's
This is
Abby.
my guy. I
You
want
can't
this
just
kid
say,
right
"Oh,
here."
nice kid." You gotta be making smart remarks. Your wife's doing a great job. Like you can't put on clothes without your wife suggesting what to wear. He told me that nonsense one time. I told him, "Yeah, I stayed up all night putting it together, and it was in the dark." That was last week when we had no power.
Oh yeah, I like that kit, man. I like those colors.
Got a good fit to it.
Well, I'll be taking it easy today. I haven't been on a bike for 2 weeks, okay? Easy.
I see that the shots are called. They decide to the shots family ride.
I didn't know what.
This is Greg's shot on the right here. That's Doug's brother. Doug is right next to
Greg.
Paul. They're talking.
That's good, man.
Greg does a lot of
give you a room.
ultra
Come
marathon
over.
stuff.
He's the shots.
So he's gonna start with us, and then when they get crazy fast, he'll let the group go, and then he catches back up at the store. But he ended up doing his own thing.
Let me
He had his
film
own
you.
route.
Get over here.
Greg, that's Greg right there. Yeah, see, that's the brother's shot. That's a nice kid.
That's what I'm talking about. Cleanliness.
That's Greg and Doug's shot. So Greg does a lot of ultra marathon. He'll do like 300 miles in one day. You know, those kind of events. That's Doug. So Greg went to the highway 1375. He took a road called Osborne Road when we got out of the forest. So he went more of the easterly direction. Probably went to New Waverly. There's a lot of hills out there. Greg, the guy on the left, he knows a lot of the roads in the area. I've gotten a lot of good routes from riding with him. That's a nice kit they've got together. I don't know if that's, I don't know what the wording is on there. I want to kind of see that kit. I like the color combination. We will get to see it later. I'm still waiting for our kit. It's been ordered. The latest Veloharmony kit. Let's see, this is July. It's been about a couple of months at least. Though the producers get busy in the spring, so they're trying to fulfill a lot of orders. We're getting it through our sponsor in Dallas called Clipton Cycling. They sell a lot of cycling kit. Wish you can get a shot of that jersey. I want to see what the wording says on it. They're wearing the same. I can't really make that out. I think it says Woodlands. Yeah, it says Woodlands. Okay, that's the WCC kit. That's the Woodlands Cycling Club kit. Yeah, I believe Mo had the same one on this ride also. When we ended up, when we stopped at the store, Mo had another group, and they met up with us at the store as well. That's the Woodlands Cycling Club kit. I don't know if it's a new one. I think it might be new. But I don't think it's brand new. I think I've seen that on Mo. It's just with these two guys wearing the kit, it really stands out. I think Mo has been wearing that for some time. I think Mo and another guy named Jesus.
Good morning.
Woodland Cycling Club.
Fine, how are you?
So we're warming up. This is Research Forest.
Is this your first time with us?
We're rolling
Or
out.
you've been,
I think with you guys, yeah, the first time.
And
Oh,
this
yeah?
is
What's
when,
your name?
you know,
Yes.
we can
Jeff?
chat and see
Yes.
we're doing
Okay.
like a double
I'm Paul.
pace line. This
Yes.
is when you
Nice
catch
to meet
up
you
or
too,
in the
man.
parking lot when we're leaving. But once the
your dad
riding
is on the
starts,
holiday.
it's
Oh,
not
yeah?
time to chat.
Yeah,
And what ended
cool.
up happening on this ride, you will
Glad you can
see,
join us,
I will
man.
point out to you guys because you will see it. Abby is busy talking with another guy who drifts
Yeah,
from the
every
front.
Saturday we
I don't know what
start
they're talking about,
same
but it's
spot,
nothing significant.
Walgreens,
It's
you
just
know.
BSing. And he's so busy talking
Only
that he starts
Saturdays, though.
weaving, and I've got to
Now
react
on Monday
to
through
what he's doing.
Fridays,
So
pretty
you will
much
see me
you do your
lift
own
my
thing.
arm up like, I told him to, let's go, get going. It's time to ride. What are you guys talking about? I said, I told him literally, you guys want to chat, get a table and sit down and talk. It's time to ride. If you can't talk and ride, then just ride. But if your talking is causing you to swerve and create something that someone else has to react to, then go to the back of the group and do it back there with whoever you want to talk with. Don't sit in the pace line and create a problem because you're talking. It ain't that critical. But a lot of these guys do that for show. Everybody's working hard, so you want to show that, I can talk. Big deal. Who cares? That's the stuff I talk about all the time. Your fitness is your fitness. No one really cares. Enjoy it when you have it. There's no point in you trying to beat your chest because you fit. You know, I just come and I ride, and I decide who I ride with and how long I ride with them. I do my own thing, you know. Until I met Paul, most of my riding was done solo because I could just get on my bike, go, put my hours in and come home. No drama. I don't have to wait for someone else who has mismanaged their maintenance and then they show up on a ride and they got a mechanical. I hate waiting for stuff like that. And even till this day, if you bring a bike to the ride and it's not a flat or it's not something you could have caught, I'm going. I don't come to sit around on Saturday to wait for people to do things they should have done on their own. This is Dan Jaworski, guy on the right. It was good to see him. He hadn't been out with us in a while. We see him around from time to time. He mostly rides solo because he has a finite amount of time. That's Sarah. And this is Loretta, the pirate, El Pirata. We call her the pirate because she rides like Pantani. Every time the road goes up, she just floats up the hills like an angel. That's what's his name? That's Juan. That's the one Abby will be talking about. He loves to chat. And the funny thing about it, we get to the store, so Abby's telling me, well, Juan told him he was tired. Why is he so tired? What are you talking? If he's tired, he should take the energy to talk and ride. He couldn't have been that tired if he's chatting with you. So I was like, I didn't buy that. I think that's Peter.
Welcome.
That's Peter, yeah, right there. Peter joining us. Peter used to ride with more than them, and he's been visiting our rides more. So quite a few of these guys turn around and come home. Dan on the left, he only rides about 2 hours on Saturday. He's got stuff going on. So the guy on the left, and that's his schedule. We chatted about it. He rides with his wife sometimes, and she's pretty decent. The last time we rode with them, she was holding a pretty good pace too. So because Dan has limited time, he doesn't do too many group rides. Every now and then he'll show up. And since we're leaving early, he doesn't care for the sun. He's very sensitive to the sun, so he wears a lot of sunblock. I put on sunblock myself because sometimes, man, this sun out here gets very intense. But I use a sports block. It's like an SPF 50. I got it off of Amazon, and it works really well. It's not greasy or anything. You got to protect your skin. The sun is intense here. And Laura carries, I think she carries sunblock with her sometimes, but because she's not wearing the sleeves as much, but she wears sunblock. So if you can get some sunblock that would last a few hours or several hours, it's good to put it on. I only put it on my arms because, you know, your arms are extended. They're not doing anything. Since my legs are moving, I don't worry too much about that. And we're leaving at 6:30, so we were back about 10:30 in the woodlands. So it's at 4 hours with the stops. And that's kind of what we're trying to keep it at. So we want to do 75, 80 miles usually. That's our normal range.
My brother looking sharp. I said, you're looking sharp.
That's Paul.
Yeah, I like the colors.
So what Paul is talking about,
Yeah, I see.
what Paul is talking about is not so much my kit is the combination. If you look at the jersey I'm wearing, and then my shorts are navy blue, and also the shoes are purple, but my socks have colored cues from the jersey. Those stripes is one of the Protein Rafa kits. So that's what he sees. Is those little accents. So, you know, when he says he likes the colors, I knew what he meant. And my blue bike had been out of commission for a bit because my pedal thread, carbon cranks have the threads inserted. They're like alloy threads. And over time, one of them just worked its way out. So I had to replace the crankset. And everything Campagnolo, you got to order them because they're very special and specific. So I went ahead and did that, and I also chased the threads in the bottom bracket because you should be able to turn the cups in by hand. And if the threads have dirt or paint or whatever in them, so I went ahead and used that opportunity to chase the threads. You know, the chasing tools are expensive for the average rider, so most people don't have them. You can go to your LBS. But if you're putting your bottom bracket cups in, those are DIY guys, and it's hard to go in, just stop and get the threads chased. You should be able to turn those cups by hand, literally. So I turned it all the way in, and then I used the torque wrench to set the torque at 35 Newton meters for the Campy cups, because we have external bottom bracket bearings on the Ultra Torque, which is what I use. But now the chain line is predictable, is nice and smooth, because if the cups are not seated right, you have all kinds of shifting issues. So didn't have problems before, but once I replace stuff, I like to make sure everything is perfect. Use that as an opportunity to clean things up. So I cleaned out all the threads and everything. I've got a chasing tool made by, I think, Cyclist, because the Part 2 one is just a bit high. It's about twice the price. Yeah, the reason I said that, we come to 2978, that's Fishcreek Blvd. And once we turn on the open road, all hell breaks loose. These guys get excited, especially the people who are only doing 20 miles or whatever. They're at the front. And I will point out where people are doing intervals in the group ride. And I just sit in. We don't help the pace. We just sit in. That's Clement Champoussin, John Malbreg on the left. That's Frank on the right in the red bike. Frank got different bikes. Every week I see him, he's got a different bike. He's got at least 5 or 6 bikes I've seen. I thought I was bad with 3 bikes. That's John on the left there. Dan Jaworski. Dan's a strong rider. Dan rides consistently, very experienced. This is a different bike. I think Dan's got a new bike, because I think his bike before had a neon, unless it was just a tape. He had a neon color scheme, you know, colorways. He used to use like a neon green, lime green kind of. Now this is all stealth, so he must have gotten a new frame. I have to be very careful what frames I get, because I need a shallow seat tube. I need something about a 72.5 or slacker, preferably a 72 or even a 71. And then I can get my saddle set without using up much of the rails, without having to get a huge frame. I ride a 56. That's my mean, but most of the 56s, the top tubes are too short, because I need a 59.5 top tube so I can use a reasonably sized stem, like a 13, you know. Because my reach, if you measure, my reach is about 72 centimeters. From my shoulder blade to the middle of my index finger, not my index, my middle finger, 72 centimeters. So I need, if you're doing the math, basically a 60 and a 12. A 60 top tube and a 12 will give me the reach I need if you're using traditional angles. You know, the head tube angle, all that plays a factor. But I need at least a 59.5 or longer top tube. And most of the bikes that are 56, they want to put a 56 top tube on it, like where the human body is square. That's Greg back there on his TT bars. Great shot. I like that jersey. I like the color scheme. WCC. Yeah, they've had it for a bit. I think I've seen Mo with it on. I think Mo has worn his so much to the point where these guys' jersey is the same jersey, but theirs look brighter. I don't know. Maybe they use a whitener or something. I don't know. It just seemed to. It looked almost like it's brand new. Maybe they just got it. You know, Mo rides a lot, so you know he's always on top of his kits, always clean. You know, I've seen it. I just never saw 2 people. You know, actually, I think on this ride, I think Jesus had the same kit on. Jesus, Mo, and these 2 guys. I think they were wearing the same kit. Mo is not in our group right now. They started behind us from a different location, because a few minutes after we got to Taco Corner, most group pulled in. There's a lot of debris on the shoulder there. People got their garbage can out. Some areas it's trash day. So the ride has not really started in earnest, but you can see we're doing about 40K. It's slightly downhill. We're going to be rolling down this bridge. Once we get past the bridge, then you really start to work. You can see my heart rate is low zone 1. That's the nice thing about being in a group on a flat road. If you sit in the back and you don't want to work hard, you can get your wish if the group is going reasonably steady. But if you want to work hard, then you've got to go to the front so you can take some pulls. Otherwise, you will end up sitting and getting a free ride and not getting much of a workout. You know, in flat road conditions, flat areas. But once the road's going up, you gotta work. So a lot of coaches would tell their people that they coach, don't go sit at the back of a group if you're supposed to be going hard today, unless you're going to be trading the pace at the front. You know, stay in the top 7 or 10 riders, so you can make sure you're working hard. So sometimes it is best to do your hardest workout by yourself, as opposed to something you will see on this ride where certain riders are at the front, and as we go up the overpasses, they will do an interval, then want to sit up. And I think John, who is here on the left, ends up just riding past one of them, and I was glad to see that, because don't let them sit up. If they come to the group ride, in your ride, and they're doing intervals and you notice it, when they want to rest, don't let them rest. If you have any kind of legs, push the pace. Make their interval longer. When we got in the forest after this ride off camera, there was a rider with us. Well, he wasn't with us. We came across him. He had been shed from Mo's group. And he was doing intervals every time the road would go up. We just kind of ignored him. We kept riding. Paul, myself, and another guy named Erwin were riding together, and we're trading the pace. And so every time the road would go up, he would shoot off and go and hammer the hill, then sit up or whatever. So we, you know, of course, we periodically were reeling him back in without trying. And even one time, Paul just went past him because we just held our pace, like the train keeps moving along. And then he would slip on the back. But by the time we got to 149, we turned right, which means more hills. He went left because that was his plan. In fact, he's not here right now. He did not start with this group, but he's a part of our chat. So he knew the route. So some riders will intentionally ride easy for like 30 miles, and then the group picks them up. Then they want to be a hero when they get caught by the group like a few miles from the store. What is the point of that? We end up coming across him. I don't know if it's on camera, but we end up coming across him. But he did that so when somebody's doing something that you don't want to do or whatever, don't feel obligated to follow that wheel. Let them go. You keep doing what you need to do. And that's exactly what we did. We held our pace, and he couldn't sustain those little intervals. So of course we kept catching him and passing him, and then he'd come back and do it again or whatever. But by the time we got further out into the forest, we turned right, he turned left. He didn't say a word to us, which was fine because he didn't start with us. We picked him up on the highway and then came across him in the forest. So people like that, they're not riding with you, ignore them. Because even though we knew him, he wasn't part of our plan. He wasn't part of our group. So remember that. Not everybody that shows up on the rides are doing what you plan to do. You need to stick to your plan. Don't let your ride get hijacked by those that don't have a plan. Because a lot of riders have no plan. They just go out and do whatever the group is doing. If you have a different plan, then you let them go and you go do what you need to do for that day so you can enjoy your ride. So we ended up having just one of the best rides in a long time, because it was Paul, myself, Laura, Erwin, and another guy, Enrique, the guy that last week that I was calling Santiago. We rode together, and it was just very, very steady. It was steady, but it was hard. So we had good work, but we weren't trying to kill each other. We just got a good workout. And that's the kind of riding people appreciate, to where you're riding with them, as opposed to showing the world how fit you are. Go to a USCF race, do it there. This is a ride, you know. Or sit at the front. I talk about it all the time. Sit at the front longer. So right here, we're just kind of watching to see who wants to do what, because all we do is we sit on them. We don't help the pace.
Not great.
And I have told them at the start of previous rides, I said, if you're going super, super fast, I won't help you. If I'm in the mood, I'll sit on your wheels, sit in a bunch. That's all we do. Because we know a lot of them are not going to finish the prescribed distance. So I stay within a foot of the wheel in front of me. Paulie Longa has the camera here, and he's filming. Frank is on my left. That's Richard Lamb on the right in the white jersey with the band across the back. Very experienced rider. That's a Sun and Ski team kit, Sun and Ski Sports. He's one of those guys who comes to the ride. You can tell he's fit, but he just kind of like Mo. He blends in, and he's what's the word? He's nondescript. He's not bling bling, if you know what I mean. He just kind of blends in. He rides with you. He'll take a pull if he gets to the front, but he's not trying to show the world, hey, look how strong I am. That's what I'm talking about. And if he wants to, I'm sure if he wants to go harder, he'll probably stay at the front longer. But he rides with the group. Most of the rides I've been on with him, he's always near the front, sitting there trying to figure out what is the group doing. He's always in the wheels, following the wheels. He doesn't go to the front and try to break everybody, you know. A lot of experienced riders have gone hard. It's nothing new. So most of the time, they're not in a hurry to go hard unless they have a good reason. Yeah. You want them to go hard, you probably have to write them a check. I stand a little bit. I shift up when I stand. So you see my rhythm. I'm not sprinting. I'm using the force of my upper body to turn that gear along with my legs. I'm walking the bike. And you see I sat down in one motion. You have to practice that. If you stand like that, your wheel does not come back to the rider behind you. So you stand on the down pedaling motion for either leg, and then when you sit, you pull the bike under you so the wheel doesn't drift back. So the rider behind is not disturbed. This looks like, let's see who that is. I wonder if that's not Enrique. No, that's not Enrique. That's a different rider. I don't know his name. We start with a bunch of riders, and then we pick up people as we're warming up. Some riders wait for us because they get wind about the ride, and so they wait on research for us and different spots to join the group. That's Rich Lake Shores that we just went through. It's probably 2.5–3% right at the before you got to the light. I stood so I wouldn't have to downshift, and I just kept that gear rolling. I had to adjust my pulleys on this bike after the ride. Late in the ride, I think it was mostly when I was on my way home by myself after we came back, I noticed that when I would back pedal in certain gears, I don't do it that much, but sometimes, you know, when you're stationary at a light and you have to start, you flip the pedal back to get the face of the pedal correct to put your cleat in. I noticed that when I would do that, the bottom pulley, the chain would get offline off of that pulley. Then once I would pedal forward, it would get back in line. And what that means is the bolts holding the pulley are not tight. If you ever have that problem, or your pulleys are worn. Well, I know my pulleys are not worn. They're new. I put they're called, I think, let me see if I can pull up the name. Kogel bearings, Kogel. Kogel makes bearings and they make pulleys for Shimano and Campagnolo. And I bought a set of bearings from them a while back, and they included those pulleys in them. So I have 2 sets. They're new. I use them on this bike because the pulleys are blue. They match the bike. Ice blue, same kind of color. And they look really nice. So yeah. So when I got home, I tightened them up, checked everything, and they were good. So when you have shifting issues, do not ignore them. If you can't fix them yourself, get it to a shop. Here's why. The shifting basically derails the chain each time you shift. So if it derails and it's not lined up, it can cause your mechanism to get jammed. You can literally rip a derailleur off your frame if you're really hammering and something gets jammed. So anything that's up with your shifting is critical. Get it addressed. It's not usually a big deal. It's usually a minor repair, so it won't cost you much, but it will cost you more if you let it go, because if it gets jammed, it can damage your rear mech or your frame or your dropout or your derailleur hanger. I mean, you know, so yeah. So do not ignore issues with your shifting, whether big to small, the rear, whatever. They need to be precise. You start hearing noises in between gears, get it tweaked. Get it adjusted. You have electronic, they can adjust it too. If you have cables, they use your barrel adjuster, they can tweak it. But don't ignore it. Your drivetrain is critical. Imagine a train going down the tracks and not quite on the rail. Yeah, it's that critical. I believe we're coming to the overpass. This is where there's a guy at the front called Roy. He's a Spanish speaker. I don't know if he's from Spain or Costa Rica or Mexico. I'm not sure. He's at the front. And you see Champoussin is messing around. Every time the road goes up, these lightweight guys, as Mike Barreras calls them, they don't need that many watts to get up there. So he rolls to the front, but he's not really at the front. But anyway, there's a guy at the front who's going to be doing an interval. I mean, he's going to go really hard, and then once we go up, then he's going to sit up. Well, we're going to keep going. And I don't know if the camera picks it up, because we're not near the front. We're in the top third of the group. This side of the overpass is not as steep as the one on the left. I actually like that one on the left. You have to put big watts. So right here, watch my watts. That's Peter coming back from the front. I think he's pulled off the front. He was pulling. So watch my watts. They're going to be well in excess of 500 watts in a bit. I notice as I'm sitting, the camera can't see it, but I see Abby. He's really accelerating, and he's not making much progress. And now watch. You see 500 plus? And watch. It gets really intense. That's Juan. He's going backwards. And you can see I put a little bit of gap on Paul, but Paul's riding. He's going to catch back up. The overpass is done. The climb is done. Now look at the watts drop. We went like almost 600 watts for a bit. Somebody was doing the interval, and now the power's off. I'm not even pedaling. So if you have somebody in your group doing that and you feel good, when they sit up, go. Keep them doing the interval. And I don't know if it's here. It's probably on Rabon Chapel, but somewhere I remember Champoussin just went past them because they'll do the interval and they want to sit up to chat. I think it was here. I don't remember. I don't know if the camera picks it up. And that chatting is an excuse. They're tired. They want to distract. So you come to the front, you do a 20-second interval, and then you're wiped out. We're not gonna slow down. We're gonna keep the train moving. So someone else has taken the lead. We're gonna be turning in a little bit. But you can see my heart rate has dropped back into zone 1 or whatever. I'm sitting in the wheels the whole time. I stay within a foot of the wheel in front of me. So when people are when they're riding above their heads and you feel good, just sit in and wait. If they can't sustain it, you wait till they cook themselves. And then you just keep the group pace going. I had to tell Abby that Abby has a radar thing. I don't know why he's just drifting in that lane. The car is coming. I could see it. And he knew it was there because he's got that Garmin with a rear camera on there. Was it Garmin or... Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I've got the one without the camera. I didn't feel I needed a camera on it. Because it costs almost twice as much. You know? I like it. I like the brightness of the light. I like how effective it is. And coupled with my mirror is great because sometimes it will beep before I can see a car in my mirror. Let's say if it's around a curve or something, it's really good. So we turn here, you will see me just remain seated. I'm in the gearing I need, and I'm just gonna spin. And while I'm dodging holes, see Richard's trying to keep up. Somebody has twisted the screw. See, I'm dodging those holes, that's it. That's why I leave a little bit of room here, but I'm still within about a foot. But I'm reading the road, because nobody's gonna be pointing out. Nobody can point out anything here. This road is full of ruts. Don't depend on that. You always want to see around the rider in front of you. You see how Paul has left a little bit of a gap here so that he can see around me. Now he's getting a little closer. Now the road goes up again. You can see it says 3.5%. I point at the car because when we're going this hard, I just like to point. You'll hear somebody say hole in a bit, which is ineffective. And it said hole after someone else had pointed at the hole. If someone points at the hole, you point the same way. So that the rider behind you knows there's something there. They don't need to see it. But saying hole, it's not effective. There's a deer on the right. I don't know if you see him running. Look to the right in the grass. There, he jumped to the right. We were watching him because they're very skittish. We didn't want him coming across the road. There's a reason I did not make a move right there. We're descending. Right now you can see I'm not really, pedaling now. But there are times in the group when you don't need to waste your energy. And that was one of them. We're down the hill. We hadn't really started drifting back up. You want to just let your momentum be because when we're descending, I always end up passing people. I don't know if it's because of my weight or my position or whatever, but I descend a lot faster than most riders, especially the lightweight guys. So I don't bother pedaling too much unless I need to. We're coming to Ribbon Chapel. That's where Abby's going to want to chat with Juan. Then he tells me at the store that Juan was tired. That's why they were talking. I'm like, if he was tired, why are you talking to him? And when I'm tired, I don't want to talk. I don't know about you. You know, I save my energy and focus on riding. My biggest thing was that he was so engrossed in the conversation that he was messing up. He was swerving, changing his line. I was having to react to him. And that's why I was like, hey man, let's go. I don't know if the camera picked that up. I just told him, what's all this talking? So right there, downshift it, watch. Look at the watts. Because this is a slight grade in that corner, and people always twist the screw. Now watch. Power will get turned off. Look at that, 0 watts. When Paul and I are riding, we don't ride like that. If we're going to go to 500 watts, we're going to settle at 250. We're going to keep moving. We're not going to do 500 watts and go to 0. That's what they do in road races. All these jumps and just waste energy. And if you haven't trained for it, it wears you down. But the way we ride, it doesn't wear us down because if you're going from 500 watts to 0, my heart rate drops. Look at that, 149. It drops quickly by the time you turn off the power. This is where they start talking. The guy in the yellow was at the front. He starts to drift backwards. Then he stops there to talk with Abby. He can't be that tired. I'm staying on Abby's wheel because he was up front. So I don't know what he's doing. Now watch, they're talking. You see, I had to react to Abby. That's when I got annoyed. Paul laughed. Then Abby's gonna say, okay, come to the front. No, you go to the back if you want to talk. I told him to get a coffee table. And so that day he's supposed to the left to tell me to come up front. No, I don't need to come up front. You go to the back. I'm just riding. I just ignored him. I ain't got time for that. If you're gonna be talking and you're gonna disrupt the flow, then you need to get out of the line and go to the back. He said I should come to the front, then I can talk. No, you go to the back, then you can talk. I just ignored him because I don't know what they're doing. Paul just laughed. And the reason I said go was because they were so busy, whatever they were talking about, that his wheel almost overlapped my Abby's. Now, it wasn't intentional, but I'm just saying, hold your line. You know, this guy's drifting to the back. Why did he stop there? Let him go all the way to the back. You're in 4th position, you drift to 7th position. What is that going to do? You're still going to be tired. I told him, let's go. That's why he saw me swing my arm. Like, let's go. We don't have to mess around. That's how crashes happen. When people start messing around, then you have these little wheel touching and all of that. We turned that corner and somebody twisted the screw, then they sat up. So I don't know if this was a timeout or whatever, but all of a sudden the power dropped. You can see we're only doing that 200 watts or so, whatever. They're trying to catch their breath. So now we're gonna go through this intersection, and there's a hill maybe about 500 meters after the intersection. And then someone will do an interval on that hill again. The same guy who was doing an interval on the overpass. So all I'm doing here is I'm watching to see who's going to start a pace line. Because right now you can see they're all spread over the road. I don't know what, what that is about. So I'm just watching. Because once the pace gets hot, everybody will line up. There was a bit of a hiatus back there. And that's what these guys. So I believe the talking is a distraction. They want to distract from what you're supposed to be doing, which is riding. You see me soft pedaling. I'm not really on the. You see how the watts are going 20 something, then 100 something. I'm soft pedaling, watching what they're doing. Now he's gonna do his interval. Whoever at the front, and then Abby's gonna be encouraging the guy in yellow to tell him that, oh, you're right there, because I guess he was having problems with the effort. Look at the watts, 600 and some watts. I just remain seated. I shifted up. I was spinning above 100 and I shifted up because this is a long climb. So this is when you push 85 to 95. That's a good range for me anyway. So you find a gear that you can push for a long time. And that's how you know they're doing the interval. When you go up the climb, you should pedal down the other side. But we're coasting because he's catching his breath. And whoever's sitting on his wheel is letting him do that. This is the stuff Mike Barreras talks about all the time. He said, don't let them push on the climb and then take a break on the downhill. On the downhill, you got to force the pace. But I wasn't in the mood for all that. I was just watching. We got a long day. This is, let's see, 7:15. We started at 6:30. So 45 minutes into our 6-hour day for me. There's no point in me wasting my energy here. So I just sit in and enjoy being driven.
What was that? Something running across the road? I don't know.
I'm not sure what Dan is asking.
Turning. I thought you saw something. No.
Oh, somebody was going across the road for the turn, probably. I put that in a big gear and I stood up, and now they sit up. So it's kind of like certain groups when we ride with them, when we turn, like if Mo was here or whatever, this pace would just keep going. Right now we're not pedaling at all. Nobody wants to pull. This is when That's Champoussin. He went to the front because the guy who was doing his intervals wanted to take a break. That's what I was talking about. So Clement Champoussin went to the front to keep the pace going. And when I saw that, I was like, good for you. He had been doing his intervals on those 2 bumps and the overpass. So that was 3 intervals. Then he wanted to sit up, act like he was talking to the guy next to him. So Champoussin went to the front and said, we're going to keep going. You see, he's up there. Your interval's not over. So one thing when you're following the wheels, the sketchier the road, leave a little bit of a distance so you can read the road. See where I am? I know this road, so I'm finding the smoothest little patches to avoid the ruts. I'm in a slightly heavier gear than normal because they're going pretty fast. Normally I'll be spinning about 100, 105. I'm doing 85 to 95 because when the road is bumpy, there's more stability if you're in a heavier gear. And we are going very fast. I mean, we're let's see, we started at 6:30, so let's say 48 minutes, and we're almost pretty close to Taco. That's fast. And the funny thing is, when Mo got to the store with his group, who were already there, I heard him ask, who won? Mo has a very good sense of humor. He uses a lot of sarcasm. He said, who won? I don't think anybody got it, but I heard it, I just smiled. Because we ride to this like it's a race every week, you know. Sometimes I intentionally move the route to where we're not coming straight to Taco to discourage those who just want to go to Taco. So you want to come with us on certain days, you're going to have to put more Ks in. We turn, look at this. This road is a slight grade. It's going to keep kicking up. That's the guy who was doing the intervals on the right there that we just passed. Because Champoussin continued the pace, he had to get off the front because it's hard. He didn't get a chance to rest. You want to do intervals in the group, you better make sure you got enough. Or you better know which group you're riding with. And somebody at the front wanted to make sure he gets to work because we're doing almost 40K. And this is a grade. It's at least 1%. It's going to keep going up. This is pretty fast. No wonder Mo said who won. I was wondering why he said that. So we flew into Taco. This group is getting faster every week. They fast for an hour and then the legs go. Yeah, a lot of bumps. I'm trying to dodge them. Because when we're going this hard, nobody's calling anything. You got to be watching. You got to read the road. This is when you have to be smooth. If you look at my feet, they look like I'm scraping something off my shoe at the bottom. I am using the muscles in the back of my legs. I'm letting my quadriceps rest. So you do have to work on your pedaling. Pedaling is not a natural gait for humans. You have to continuously train those neuromuscular pathways and teach your body to be efficient. So spinning is pushing down, scraping at the bottom, lifting up over with your psoas muscles. You got to continually work on that. And the harder you pedal, the more you should work on being smooth so that you use all the muscles in your legs and not wear out one group over the other. The speeds are down because we just went around that curve that had kicked up. Now it's leveled off a bit. You see the line is tight? You don't have to worry. Ain't nobody's messing around because it's hard now. You got to pay attention. This is when it's safest, when you're going hard. In a group, it's most dangerous when people are messing around. And a lot of cyclists, some cyclists want to show off. Oh yeah, you guys are going hard. Look, I can talk. We can all talk. We just don't want to. You know, what's there to talk about? That's what that's about. You feeling that good? Go to the front and go pull. Don't sit in 5th or 6th position and want to chat. Go to the front. Then we'll be impressed. So you want to go this fast for the first hour? I'm not helping you. We'll just sit on your wheel. You can drag us to taco and then we continue to go. So quite a few riders here. Some went with Mo's group. Some turn around. You know, they don't finish the ride. That's Sarah. Sarah pulled off the front, I believe, while she's drifting back from the middle. I'm not sure if she was at the front. We're approaching the FM 2854. You're going to hear people grabbing brakes. These disc brakes, when they're not serviced properly, they're noisy. And it's not because of discs, it's the owner. If you service them, they don't make that noise. Listen. You hear that? That's the guy in yellow. He's grabbing a handful of brakes. I just move away from him. I don't need to brake that much. I'm not braking at all. I don't need to ride my brakes. Because if you stay behind him, then you got to brake because the discs will stop harder than the rim brakes. Especially if you have rim brakes on carbon, they need more distance to stop. So just give yourself room like you saw me do. I didn't brake at all, so I'm not sure why he was braking like that. This road is a grade. It says 1%. Yeah, so it's a slight grade in the distance, maybe about a kilometer. It's going to kick up before it descends. I'm probably sitting in a 5317 here. So I don't do too much shifting unless the terrain is changing a lot. I just find a reasonable gear. So it's an 84-inch gear. So I can just ride it. So the 17 and the 16, I'll play between those two. So I may be in the 16 because we're doing almost 24 miles an hour. So I'm probably in the 16. So you got to have strong enough legs to ride those gears on a false flat. Because that's what this is. This is a false flat. So the ride here primarily is, if you look at the route at the top, the profile, you can see we've been going up the whole time. So imagine you start a ride where you're going up and look how fast we've been going. So we're averaging probably 19 to 20 miles an hour overall from the start. So you're riding large gears, you're spinning them, you're doing whatever. So for me, whenever we get near a stop, I like to spin my legs down a little bit. I don't like to just stop. It helps you avoid cramping and all that kind of stuff. So when we get to the light, after we get through the light, I wave them up and I just go ahead and spin to the store. I'm about maybe 15, 20 seconds behind the group. But I do that because when we stopped at the store, we didn't stop that long. I didn't need anything from the store. because we were leaving so early, my bottles were still full because I drink before I get on the bike. Then I have 2 full bottles on the bike. That way I avoid carrying a 3rd bottle. I think Peter has a 3rd bottle. I don't know if we get to see him here because you can see his jersey at the top of the neck. I think he keeps a bottle there. Sometimes when I ride solo, if I'm doing a long ride, I may take a 3rd bottle because I don't want to stop. That's the same guy grabbing brakes. So if you keep your brakes maintained, they don't make noise like that. There are other riders that have discs. We don't hear them. When they're dirty or contaminated, that's when they make all that noise. I mean, they all make noise when it's wet, but it's not wet today. It's just been neglected. It looks like something was on the road back there. And nobody called it, of course. We missed it, thankfully. We're not really going hard here. I mean, well, I guess it's hard. I'm at sweet spot. It didn't feel hard here. I stayed to the right here and see around him to see what's going on. There's nothing. So we're not even pedaling here. Then when we get about maybe a 1/3 of the way down, somebody's going to start hammering again. I'm like, please. You should be riding here, all through here. Whoever was pulling back there, they left it all on that incline, and now they're taking a break here. I was riding with Mo one day. He said, don't stop pedaling on the downhill. He said, keep pedaling. Makes sense. It helps your leg recover. Now here they're starting to ride again. I guess somebody else is at the front now. So by all means, if your group has similar characteristics and you're in the mood and you want to play, yeah, go to the front, mix it up, whatever you got to do, but just meet your goals. I mean, my goal on this ride was 6 hours. So I wasn't going to leave it all in the first hour, so to speak. So let's see, 7:29. So it's almost an hour. And we've done, let's see, what's the distance? I'm trying to deduct mine because I started before the ride. It's about 20 miles to the store. 21 miles. That's pretty fast. So we're gonna stop at the light. Now we're gonna stop at the light, and 3 of these guys will decide to run the light, albeit slowly. Like that makes a difference. I don't do that foolishness because you end up making all of us look bad. There's one already. Abby is the leader. He's going across, and we stop here. I just ignore him. It makes no sense. They've gone through the light. I mean, how do you carefully run a red light? I don't know. I don't even know how to do it in a car. I never learned that skill. It's a lot easier to wait for the green. It's bad enough for people running red lights when you have the green, let alone going through a major intersection like this. This is Montgomery. It's a major intersection. They just added those middle dividers because of the increase in growth in the area. It's not an intersection I want to mess with. No. I'm gonna wave John around me in a little bit. I'm in front of John. Yeah, I waved him up already. Paul knows I'm gonna spin to the store. So he's got the camera. They're gonna go. I'm just gonna spin down. They're not really going that fast. These are the guys that ran the red light. They've already been caught by these guys who stopped for the red light. Go figure. Going slowly across a red light does not mean you didn't run it. That's the guy who was doing the interval. So you got to know who you're following. Don't waste your energy following the wrong people. They're not doing their ride's over. They get to the store and that's it. And we ended up passing him in the forest, and I'm not sure what he was doing, but he was not going very well. he had tried to hang on with Mo's group when they came by. So the thing is, as we get to the store, this is our group. Mo comes with his group, and he says hi. We greet everybody. They go, they get their refreshments or whatever. They come by while we're on the road, and they pass our group, and members of our group jump on their train without knowing what his group is doing. If I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna at least talk to the ride leader and say, "Where are you guys going?" It's kind of funny. But anyway, people do that. People want to challenge themselves and go a little faster. That's fine. But that's the fun thing. But the lesson is that make sure you accomplish your goals for each ride. You need to have a goal that day. Don't go and kill yourself for 1 hour and then you crawl home and then you can't function the rest of the day. When I'm done with this ride, I do 6 hours. I gotta go to work. I can't come out here and kill myself on Saturday. I got things to do. I don't get to go take a nap usually, So I ride based on the training I've been doing. And now Paul and John have passed a lot of those guys that were at the front killing themselves when we're riding here. To this, they're going to Taco Corner. That's where we're going to stop briefly. It's like a 5 or 7 minute stop. You get a drink, get some ice water, whatever you need, and be ready to go. The one positive thing, though, I mean, there's a lot of positives about the speed of this group. A long time ago, we would get caught every time we're on the road messing around, taking it easy. Now with these guys, shoot, we're riding 33, 34K, 21, 23K most of the ride. We get the taco in a hurry, 7:34:23. So it's 7:34 in the morning. We started about 6:30 something, so about an hour to do 21, 22 miles. That's very good, especially with this terrain. So I don't know what you did on Saturday, but this is part of what we did on Saturday. On the return, it was Laura, who you see here, Paul, a guy named Erwin, who is behind it with the other guys, myself, and Enrique. We had just a fabulous time through the forest and all the way back into Spring Branch. So remember, get your K's in and keep all the doctors fired. This is Taco Corner. It's a good cycling stop.
My brother from another mother. Good, eh? Captain, welcome back. What happened to our family bike?
It needs a new cassette and chain.
Oh, wow.
She wore it out, man. She worked that thing.
Yeah,
She gave up on her, man. It just quit.
more of those.